The VapePassion Show, episode 71. In this episode, we're going to talk about a new Nightcore e-liquid mixer, getting blemished products from Subohm Innovations for cheap, an e-juice review of Honey Bear from Marina Vape, old-fashioned vape review of the Smoke Caterpillar RDA, Enjoy and other vape businesses file a citizen petition with the FDA, 528 Customs gives bad advice to vapors, kids vaping OxyContin in Ontario, and Vape NW loses their shop and warehouse in a fire. Hey, welcome back to the VapePassion Show. I'm Alex, and this is episode 71. I'm recording this on Sunday, May 28th. Let's talk about a little non-vape related stuff, just what's going on with me. So, I've been really digging on synthwave music lately. Do any of you guys listen to this? I know it's been around for a while, but it's new to me. So I was listening to a Pandora radio station the other day, and a song called Night Call by Kavinsky came on, which I really liked. That led me into a downward spiral of internet searches. So first I found the soundtrack to the movie Drive with Ryan Gosling, which I haven't seen, but I want to now. And then in the comments section of that soundtrack video on YouTube, I found mentions of a game called Hotline Miami, which is a top-down shooter based in 1980s Miami. This game looks like so much fun. It's extremely violent, but the style, artwork, and the music are just so good. I can't believe I missed this game when it came out. I'll probably pick it up soon. So yeah, anyway, synthwave, retro electric, electro clash, whatever you want to call it. That's what I've been listening to lately, and if any of you guys have recommendations on that kind of music, let me know, because I'm really interested. And then last week was also my daughter's first ballet recital. She's only 3, so obviously it wasn't an amazing performance to anyone other than me and my wife, but for any of you out there who have kids, you know how special things like this are. She did such a good job, and I was just really proud of her, and she had a great time too, and she didn't care that hundreds of people were watching her on stage. It's just one of those things that makes being a parent all worth it, and I'll never forget it. Okay, now let's talk about some new stuff I got in this week. So Heaven Gifts was supposed to send me a new mouth-to-lung tight draw tank called the Vapefly Nicholas for review, but the warehouse got mixed up, and I ended up with T16 coils for the SigPet Eco 12 tank, which is awesome because I really wanted to try these coils, so I'm excited about that. These coils, they can handle up to 400 watts. I wish I had a device that could push 400 watts so that I could test them to their limits, but I'm still happy that I got to try these. So far, they're pretty good. The most powerful device that I have can push 200 watts, so that's all I've been able to test. At 200 watts, they're practically the same as the T12 coils, which are great, but these T16s are pointless, really, in my opinion, unless you have a 300 watt plus device. But anyway, Heaven Gifts resubmitted the order for the Vapefly Nicholas tank, so I should be getting that probably sometime next week. And I'm really excited for that too. I like both mouth-to-lung vaping and straight-to-lung vaping. I buy mostly straight-to-lung atomizers because that's what I prefer, but also because there aren't enough manufacturers making mouth-to-lung products. So I'm hoping that this tank is awesome so that the mouth-to-lung vapors out there have a new product to use. And then I also got an Oric air purifier. So I've been wanting to get an air purifier ever since the Avatar Vape Nut came out, but I didn't want the Vape Nut. The Vape Nut just didn't really appeal to me because of its limited features and the high price. I wanted something high-powered. I also wanted an air purifier that uses true HEPA filters so that I could filter out all of the vapor from the room. The Vape Nut seems fine for what it is, but not for what they charge for it, which is something like $110. You can get so many other better purifiers for that price. Well, I was just about to order a $90 air purifier from Bed Bath & Beyond, and then using one of those 20% off coupons that they send out to everyone, like once a week. But then I randomly saw an air purifier on a local buy, sell, and trade group on Facebook that I'm in. So it was really great timing. I bought the Oric 3-speed air purifier for $40, and the woman who owned it had only used it a couple of times, so it's practically brand new. It's normally a $100 air purifier, so that's a hell of a deal. And this air purifier uses true HEPA filters and can purify 900 square feet as opposed to the Vape Nut's 190 square feet. The one drawback with this purifier, though, is the size. It's not huge, but it doesn't fit on my desk, which is the one big benefit of the Vape Nut or any other tabletop air purifier. Anyway, I'm happy with what I bought, especially for only $40. It's a little loud, so I can't use it while I'm recording videos, but at least it'll keep my electronics safe from vapor most of the time. All right, now I want to talk about a product that a lot of people have been talking about, the new Nightcore e-liquid mixer. So it has a heating plate that goes up to 70 degrees Celsius. It rotates at 70 to 1200 RPMs. It uses a metal stir bar that either spins in the bottle or can spin the entire bottle. And according to Nightcore, it's nearly completely soundless. The guys on Plumes of Hazard didn't like the idea of this product at all, But Wayne from DIY or Die was really excited about it. Considering that it's for DIY e-juice, I'd have to believe Wayne over the Plumes guys in this case. So the way it works is that you drop a metal stir bar into your container of e-juice. That container can be a bottle or a beaker or whatever else you want to mix in. And what's cool about the heating plate is that you can speed steep your e-juice with heat while you're also mixing it. When it's done mixing, you get the stir bar out of the container by using a magnetic rod that comes with the mixer. The capacity of the mixer is 17.5 ounces and can mix 30 to 1,000 milliliters of e-liquid, although they recommend a max of 200 milliliters at a time. It can also continuously run for up to 14 days. Nightcore hasn't listed a price on their site yet, but imrbatteries.com has it on pre-order for $120. That's actually a pretty good price. That's how much other magnetic mixers cost without the heating functions, from what I'm seeing online. For a magnetic stir with a built-in heat plate, you can expect to spend anywhere from $200 to $1,000 from what I'm seeing online. So yeah, this new Nightcore mixer looks like it's a pretty good deal. And now I just want to give you a quick tip if you're interested in any of the products from Subohm Innovations. So those guys, they sell the Sub-Zero RDA and the Sub-Zero Competition mod, both of which people seem to love. And I actually have the RDA and I love it. I use it all the time. Anyway, if you've been looking for one of those, I just noticed that SubohmInnovations.com sells blemished products. They are fully functional products, but they might have nicks, scratches, dents, or other blemishes. If you don't mind blemishes, you can get these products for more than half off the original cost, which is a lot. For example, the Sub-Zero mod is normally $150, but you can get the blemished version for only $60. That's a pretty steep discount. Sales are final though, so if the blemish is really bad and it drives you nuts, you can't return it. So that's one drawback. But yeah, go check those guys out. Okay, now let's talk a little bit about this show, the VapePassion Show. So I've been trying to think of some additional segments that I could add to the show, and I'm interested in hearing some recommendations from my listeners. I was talking with one of my subscribers, Tony, on Facebook, and he suggested more talk about DIY e-juice and coil building. I've done a little DIY in the past, but I don't do it often because I don't know if it's useful to my podcast listeners who aren't watching the video of the show. Coil building is kind of the same deal, but I could do it for my vlog watchers and then edit those sections out of the podcast version of the show. One idea that I've been thinking about for a few months now is doing quick reviews of really old products. I think there were a lot of great products that came out in the last few years that are still good, but have been forgotten because so many products come out these days. And I could even review stuff as old as, 3 or more years ago, good or bad, like Cartomizer tanks, MechMod kicks, and stuff like that. Or I could review stuff that got terrible reviews. That might be fun too. And I've thought about doing interviews too, but I've kind of shied away from that because I'm just not really good at doing interviews. I just don't think fast enough when I'm on the spot. And I'm the kind of person who is very analytical, process-oriented, and organized. And that's why I do so well in my day job, which requires a lot of marketing strategy and website analysis. Now, I'm sure that sounds boring to a lot of you, but I love it. But yeah, that's why I don't do interviews. But I have thought about it, and I just might give it a try at some point. Another idea that I have was to do reviews of e-juices of the same flavors and seeing which one is the best of the bunch, like a flavor comparison segment or something like that. Now that one is hard because it would be a little expensive for me to buy all that stuff, but I might be able to do something like that every once in a while. Or I could do flavor comparisons of DIY concentrates, which would be much more affordable, but still a little too expensive for me to do every week, but that's something that could work too. So what do you all think? If you really like any of these ideas, or if you have some ideas of your own, either for the podcast only, the vlog only, or both, let me know. You know what? Let's go ahead and do an old product vape review right now. I'm also going to mix in an e-liquid review. I hope this doesn't get too confusing to edit, but let's give it a shot. So let's see. Okay, so the old product that I'm going to review is the Smoke Caterpillar RDA. And then the e-juice that I'm going to review is Honey Bear from Marina Vape. Let's start with Honey Bear. So Marina Vape gave this to me at a conference I attended last year for the purpose of review. This bottle has 3 milligrams nicotine. It's a max VG e-juice, and it comes in nicotine strengths of 0, 3, and 6. So Marina Vape describes Honey Bear as your favorite bear-shaped honey-flavored snack blended with a glass of ice-cold milk, honey, bears, graham crackers. Now, I'll be honest, I'm a little worried about this one. I always hear people saying that honey flavors are disgusting. Not honey bear specifically, just honey flavored e-liquids in general. So we'll see. I can't really get any of those flavors out of the smell. It just smells like sweet candy. I don't get honey, I don't get graham crackers, just a lot of sugar. So I'm vaping this on the Predator 228 mod with a Caterpillar RDA on top, built at 0.21 ohms at 70 watts. Let's close off those airflow holes. So I'm going to put it at 1 airflow hole, which should be a pretty tight draw. Not mouth to lung, but close. I don't know. On that RDA, I don't get any of those flavors. It just tastes sweet. It just tastes like sweetener. I'm not getting honey. I'm not getting graham crackers or that milk flavor. I'm not really getting any of it, just sweetness. So let's try it on something that has a little bit more flavor. Well, it might have a little bit more flavor. A device that I know has good flavor, the Goon. So I'll be trying it on the Goon at 0.19 ohms, 200 watts. Actually, that might be a little high. I'll take that down to maybe 120 watts. All right, here we go. Okay, so in the Goon, it does have a lot more flavor, but I'm still not getting a lot of those other flavors. I'm not really getting the flavors that they describe. I am getting a slight hint of honey, but that's about it. I'm not sure I can get any of that graham cracker or that milky flavor. It's sweet though. So I don't know. I've seen some reviews of this online, and a lot of people are saying that they love it, that they do get the honey and the graham crackers. So maybe it's just me. But if you're interested, I'm finding this on various stores online for around $14 for a 30 ml bottle. So the price is a little steep, but not too crazy. Okay, now let's talk about the Caterpillar RDA. So this was my very first RDA, which I chose after doing a bunch of research on the best RDAs for beginners, which is probably a search term that most people use when deciding to use their first RDA. Well, this was a popular RDA when it came out in mid-2014, and it was still somewhat popular at the time that I bought it, which was in early 2015. I did an embarrassing review of this 2 years ago, which I'll link to in the show notes if you want to see it. And I still remember getting this and thinking about how sleek it looked. I couldn't believe the quality of this RDA for only $12. That's an amazing price for an authentic RDA, especially in 2015. So let's quickly discuss the specs. So it's made of stainless steel. It has 10 small airflow holes, 5 on each side. Has an adjustable airflow ring, and it has flathead post screws with little grips on it to hand tighten if you want to do it by hand. And it has a decent sized deck. So like you just saw, I did vape Honey Bear on both the Caterpillar RDA and the Goon. And clearly the flavor is a lot more muted in the Caterpillar. No comparison to the Goon as far as flavor goes, but it still had decent flavor. And another thing with the Caterpillar is that the airflow holes are really tiny. So this isn't you can't get really deep lung hits on this one. It's designed for more restricted airflow, even with all of the airflow holes wide open. And I know that people were drilling these holes a little bit bigger when this was popular, just to get more airflow. But I think it's pretty good for what it was. And you know, the deck, it's decent. You know, it's about the same size as a lot of decks these days, so it's not terrible. The post screws, they're not bad. I actually kind of like how easy it is to build the deck on here, to install coils. You know, with the hand tightening them in makes it really easy, and you can just stick your fingernail in those little slots to tighten it up a little bit more if you want. Yeah, it's really not that bad. I don't really use it a whole lot anymore because I just have so many better RDAs, but yeah, I think it's still a pretty good atomizer. I definitely wouldn't pick it over pretty much anything on the market these days, but yeah, it's just fun to go back and take another look at it. So let's call this the first review of a new segment for old products, which I'll try to keep doing every week. If you have any suggestions for an old product that you'd like me to review, whether it's good or absolutely terrible, let me know. Or even something that nobody has ever reviewed before. If it's affordable, I'll try to get my hands on it. The only thing that I probably won't review in this segment is e-juice, because I just really don't have a desire to vape disgusting e-juice. I have a big enough backlog of good e-juice to review. I might do reviews of old school e-juice though, if it has good reviews. Anyway, if you have anything old that you'd like me to review, or if you want to send me something to review, get in touch and let me know. Okay, now let's talk a little advocacy. Enjoy and other vape businesses file a citizen petition with the FDA. So the United States Food and Drug Administration has a process that allows individuals and organizations to request that the FDA change their health policies through what's called a citizen petition. At any time, someone can file a citizen petition that asks the FDA to issue, amend, or revoke a regulation or order. The law also states that the FDA must respond to petitions within 150 days. So on May 17th, Enjoy, the Vapor Technology Association, the Smoke-Free Alternatives Trade Association, Turning Point Brands, Nicopure Labs, Five Ponds, Johnson Creek, and other businesses submitted a citizen petition asking for the FDA to provide clear guidance for vape manufacturers about how to submit pre-market applications, and also to extend compliance deadlines by 24 months. If you read the petition on regulations.gov, you'll see the reasoning behind these requests. For example, the petition points out that it's now nearly a year after the FDA released the draft PMTA guidance on electronic cigarettes. And in that time, we still have not received recommendations from the FDA on completing pre-market tobacco applications or substantial equivalence reports. And this isn't your typical everyday online petition that the government brushes off and totally ignores. The citizen petition process is a formal process that the FDA must follow as defined in the Code of Federal Regulations. With that said, though, the FDA still has final say in whether or not the requests in the petition are granted. There was actually an empirical study that reviewed every citizen petition filed with the FDA between 2001 and 2010, so 9 years of data. What they found is that the FDA granted 19% of petitions and denied 81%. Also worth noting, though, is that most petitions are from pharmaceutical companies who are trying to delay generic brands from coming onto the market. So that success rate or the denial rate might not reflect the chances that this new petition from Enjoy might have, because it's in a little bit of a different area. So what can you do to help? Well, you can go to CASA.org to find the call to action, or check the link in the show notes. You can submit comments on the petition on regulations.gov until November 8th, 2017. In your comment, you can share your experience with vaping. You can talk about how long you've smoked and how vaping has helped you quit or reduce smoking, what your favorite flavors of e-liquid are, and why flavors are important to you, and how the FDA deeming rule has changed your ability to buy vapor products. Okay, moving on. 528 Customs gives bad advice to vapors. So I came across this post on vapingunderground.com, which was actually a repost from Reddit, but I couldn't find the original post on Reddit. Anyway, someone sent an email to customer support at 528 Customs asking them for some advice on the Goon 1.5 RDA. This person mentioned to 528 that they had just purchased the Goon, and even after installing several builds, the ohms constantly jumped around. He confirmed to 528 that the post screws are tight and the coils didn't wiggle around at all. The RDA was also tightened all the way down on the device, and it was tested on multiple devices. So basically there should be no reason for the ohms to move around once they've been fired and adjusted. So Brittany Starkey of 528 Customs responded. She said, "Have you tried it on a mech mod?" And then she followed up an hour later saying that her husband is the owner of 528 and the designer of the Goon. She said that the advice that she gave was his suggestion, and she said that it's impossible for ohms to jump around on a mech mod. She said using it on a mech first will usually fix the issue. Now, I don't even know what to say about this. I guess it just goes to show that even vape product manufacturers have no clue about vaping sometimes. Now, first, to say that firing an atomizer on a mech mod will produce different results than a regulated mod just makes no sense at all. Either device will fire the coils. The only difference is that on a mech, you're limited by the batteries. There's nothing physically different from how the atomizer receives power from the battery in either of those devices. And then to say that it's impossible for ohms to jump around on a mech is totally clueless. It's impossible to know the ohms are jumping around on a mech because mech mods don't have screens. They can't show you the resistance changing. But that doesn't mean that it's not happening. That's the equivalent to putting black tape over your check engine light in your car. And then to top it all off, someone posted the same issue on 528's Instagram page. They were having issues with the ohms jumping around, and then the owner responded condescendingly to this person, saying that he already gave this person advice over email. The owner thought that this was the person from earlier, but it wasn't. He goes on to say that he's been vaping for more than 4 years and that using an atomizer on a mech mod tends to fix voltage issues. He also states that the Goon 1.5 is one of the safest RDAs on the market due to the materials and insulators that they use. I honestly can't believe this is the advice that the owner of an RDA manufacturing company gave to a customer. And then he throws out the fact that he's been vaping for more than 4 years, implying that he knows what he's talking about. I'm not trying to crap on the Goon because it's an amazing RDA, and I just used it earlier. But I wanted to cover this story just because this advice is not only terrible, but it's also dangerous. I've experienced this issue with an atomizer in the past. If after making sure that everything is built correctly, tested with various builds and on various devices, and the issue still persists, it's usually because there's something wrong with the atomizer. And it's most likely that there's something wrong with the positive post or the 510 pin. If the Goon 1.5 has some sort of shorting issue that's causing the ohms to jump around, that could be extremely dangerous, especially on a mech mod. If the ohms jumped to below safe levels of that battery, whatever battery is in that mech, that could hard short that battery and cause an explosion. It's seriously terrible advice. This might be an isolated issue and not typical with the Goon 1.5 in general, but the advice that they gave is just so dangerous that I just had to talk about it. 528 Customs has since removed the Instagram thread and supposedly blocked everyone who commented on it, but the screenshots are on the internet forever. And people are still commenting on other recent Instagram posts on their page. All right, moving on to the next topic. So kids are vaping Oxycontin in Ontario. So according to the Almaguin Highlands High School principal, Donna Brult, students in Near North District in Ontario are using vaporizers to vape THC e-liquid with crushed Oxycontin mixed in. They're also sharing their devices with groups of people, which are causing worries of spreading hepatitis. According to the school district board chairman, David Thompson, there's no way for administrators to know what is being vaped because there's no smell. So they've made the decision to outright ban vaping on school grounds entirely. This is pretty scary. Oxycontin is such a dangerous and highly addictive drug. I've known Oxycontin addicts and their lives are not pretty. What's also scary about inhaling Oxycontin is that Oxycontin is coated in a plastic polymer substance. That means that these kids are inhaling heated particles of plastics. So with all of that being said, I can see why schools would want to ban vaping if a lot of kids are actually vaping Oxycontin in school, but it really sucks to punish the kids who are legitimately using vaping as an alternative to smoking. So if they don't ban it, what's the answer? I really don't know. If any of you have thoughts on this, please feel free to share. All right, and finally, VapeNW.com loses their shop and warehouse in a fire. So Federal Way, Washington vape vendor, VapeNW.com, is now temporarily out of business due to a fire in their building. So VapeNW was one of 9 businesses located in a strip mall that went up in flames at around 4 a.m. on Sunday, May 21st. A call to report the fire came in around 4:20 in the morning, with the person saying that smoke was coming out of the coffee shop. Firefighters responded and finally put the fire out around 11 in the morning. The fire department stated that this building did not have a sprinkler system or fire detectors, smoke detectors, which is not a requirement because the building was built in the 70s. The fire department also released a press release a few days later stating that they have not been able to determine the cause of the fire yet, but that fire patterns indicate that it originated in the northern part of the complex, which looks to me is not where Vape NW was located, but it was where several restaurants were. Vape NW has stated that it was a total loss. The entire shop and their warehouse burned down, which means that all orders that have not yet been shipped will not go out, and they are also not able to process any returns or answer help desk tickets. They are refunding all orders and are no longer taking orders online. Nobody was hurt, but it's sad news for Vape NW and for their customers. I've actually ordered from them several times because they always have really good prices and because they ship so fast. So hopefully they can get this all sorted out and get back in business and in a new location soon. Okay, that's all I have for this week. You'll find the show notes for this episode on VapePassion.com. Just do a search for episode 71. If you want to support the show, consider donating to my Patreon page at patreon.com/VapePassion. You can follow me on Twitter at VapePassion, and I'm also on Facebook if you want to leave me a comment. If you like this weekly show, please consider giving me a thumbs up on the video and subscribe to my channel if you're not already a subscriber. You can also subscribe to the podcast version of the show on either iTunes, Stitcher, or Google Play. If you'd like to get notifications of new reviews or of the show, you can sign up to receive my weekly email on VapePassion.com. And if you have any questions or comments, feel free to email me anytime at alex@VapePassion.com. All right, I'll see you next week.